Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today's video is going to take you on a journey through time, history, and hidden treasure as we explore one of the most talked about gems of modern American coinage, the United States of America 2000 Virginia State Quarter Dollar. This is not just another state quarter. This is a coin with stories, secrets, surprising errors, and values that can climb far beyond face value when the right collector sees the right piece. So sit back, relax, and listen carefully, because every second of this story can make you a better treasure hunter. The year 2000 was special for the U.S. Mint. The state quarter program was exploding in popularity, millions of new collectors were joining the hunt, and the Virginia quarter, celebrating the 400th anniversary of the Jamestown colony, became one of the most iconic designs in the entire series. The image of the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, three legendary ships, instantly captured the imagination of collectors. And today, this coin is still one of the most researched, most searched for, and most discussed coins on YouTube and across the internet. But what makes the 2000 Virginia quarter truly fascinating is not just the design, it is the hidden rarities. It is the unexpected minting mistakes. It is the tiny details that can turn a simple 25-cent coin into a valuable collectible worth far, far more. Let's begin with the basics. This coin was minted at both Philadelphia and Denver, and while millions were produced, only a very small percentage contain the errors and special traits collectors crave. The most famous variety is the off-center strike, when the design is pushed noticeably away from the center. Even a slight misalignment can drastically raise the value. And when the off-center error is dramatic, showing unstruck blank areas, collectors go crazy for it. Another rare trait is the double die. Some 2000 Virginia quarters show doubling on the ship details, on the word Virginia, or on the date. It may be subtle, but under magnification it becomes clear, and collectors pay strong premiums for it. Then comes the filled mint mark, another highly sought-after anomaly. When metal fills the inside of the D or P mint mark, the letter appears thick or deformed, and this error can turn an ordinary coin into an intriguing collectible. But one of the rarest and most desirable errors found on the 2000 Virginia quarter is the struck-through grease error. When too much grease builds up on the die, certain details disappear completely. Missing windows on the ships, faded lettering, or vanished waves in the water are the clues that your coin might be hiding one of these mysterious mistakes. Collectors love these errors not only because they're scarce, but because they transform the story of the coin. A normal coin is just a coin, but an error coin becomes a moment in minting history. A misalignment, a doubling, a filled mark, these things were never meant to exist, yet they survived the journey from the mint into the hands of collectors, and that survival makes them special. Even well preserved, perfectly normal Virginia quarters in high grades have value. A mint state piece with razor-sharp details and untouched luster can bring excellent premiums. And in the world of coin grading, every tiny detail counts. Flawless surfaces. Bright original shine. No scratches from circulation. These are the qualities that separate a common quarter from a desirable collector's piece. So when you hold a 2000 Virginia State quarter, you're not just holding a small piece of metal. You're holding a symbol of American history, a tribute to the explorers who carried the spirit of a new nation across the ocean, and possibly a hidden treasure that many people overlook. Now let's talk about what collectors really want to know, the actual value. Before we reveal the numbers, remember this: prices depend heavily on grade, rarity, and error type. Some pieces sell for modest premiums, while others explode in value when they hit the auction block. Here are the real market prices and auction values, spoken in words exactly as you asked. A normal circulated 2000 Virginia quarter can be worth from $1 to $5 depending on condition. High-grade certified pieces can sell for $20 to $100 or more. Major off-center errors have sold for $200 to $500. Strong double die varieties can reach $100 to $250, and rare struck-through errors have appeared in auctions for $300 to $800 depending on severity and grade. This is why collectors always check every detail, every letter, every curve of the design. Every tiny imperfection could be the key that unlocks extra value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2000 Virginia State Quarter and want more rare coin stories, stay connected, keep hunting, and keep your eyes sharp, because treasure doesn't always glitter, sometimes it circulates quietly in your pocket. Coin number 2. We are talking about the United States of America 2001 Rhode Island State Quarter Dollar, a coin that looks calm like the ocean carved on its design, yet contains some of the most exciting and surprising details in the entire series. When this quarter was released in 2001, millions of Americans lined up to grab new state quarters, but the Rhode Island quarter stood out immediately. Its design is elegant, peaceful, and artistic. The sailboat gliding over Narragansett Bay, the towering Pell Bridge stretching in the background, the flowing waves that give the coin a sense of motion, everything about it feels like a quiet masterpiece of American coinage. But as smooth and calm as the design looks, the story behind this coin is anything but simple, because while this quarter entered circulation in vast numbers, collectors soon discovered that not all Rhode Island quarters are created equal. Hidden among the ordinary pieces are rare errors, secret varieties, and high-grade examples that carry surprising value. And today, if you listen carefully, you may learn how to spot those treasures that most people never noticed. Let's start with the minting. The Rhode Island quarter was produced at Philadelphia and Denver, and both mints released millions of coins. But the rare ones did not come from quantity, they came from mistakes, pressure issues, die wear, misalignment, and tiny manufacturing flaws that accidentally produced rare collectibles. That's where the excitement begins. Point 1 of the most hunted errors on the 2001 Rhode Island quarter is the dramatic off-center strike. Imagine the sailboat drifting to one side, the text pushed toward the edge, and a section of blank planchet appearing on the other side. These are the kinds of errors that collectors love because every off-center piece is unique. Even a small shift makes the coin desirable, while a major off-center strike can turn this quarter into a premium collectible instantly. Another rare and fascinating error is the die crack. Some Rhode Island quarters show cracks running through the waves, across the bridge, or near the sailboat. These cracks form unusual raised lines, giving the coin a rugged, accidental beauty. And when the crack is large, bold, and easy to see, collectors are willing to pay strong premiums for it. But one of the most intriguing varieties is the doubled die. On this coin, doubling may appear on the lettering of Rhode Island, on the date, or around the fine details of the sailboat. Some doubling is subtle, but some is strong enough that even the naked eye can catch it. Every doubled die is a piece of minting history, and error born in the die itself, not in handling or circulation. And that makes it very collectible. Another hidden treasure within this coin story is the struck-through error. When a piece of cloth, metal shaving, or grease interrupts the striking process, parts of the design vanish. Missing wavelines, faded lettering, soft areas around the bridge, or ghost-like textures on the sailboat are all signs that your quarter might be a struck-through error. These pieces feel mysterious, almost like the coin was hiding something beneath the surface. Then there's the cut error, where part of the die breaks and creates a large raised blob of metal on the coin. Rhode Island quarters with cuts near the rim or near the waterline are extremely collectible because this type of error is visually dramatic and very rare. Now let's talk about high-grade pieces. A normal Rhode Island quarter may seem common, but a flawless, untouched mint state example can be surprisingly valuable. Sharp details, perfect luster, silky surfaces, and no scratches from circulation, these are the qualities that push a quarter from pocket change into collector treasure. Even more impressive are graded pieces, those certified by professional graders. When a Rhode Island quarter receives a high grade, especially above mint state 67, bidders and collectors often compete fiercely to own it. So remember, every time you hold this coin in your hand, you're touching a piece of American art, a symbol of Rhode Island's maritime spirit, and potentially a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. Now let's reveal what every viewer wants to know. The real market prices and auction values in simple spoken words exactly as you requested. A circulated 2001 Rhode Island quarter usually sells from $1 to $5 depending on condition. A high-grade mint state example can bring anywhere from $20 to $100. Strong doubled die varieties may sell for $100 to $200. Large die cracks and visible cuts can reach $200 to $300. Dramatic off-center strikes have sold for $300 to $600, and rare struck-through errors have appeared in auctions for $400 to $800 depending on how dramatic the error is. Every single one of these values begins with paying attention. The difference between a common coin and a treasure is often a tiny detail. And the best collectors are the ones who look the closest. Thank you for joining this journey into the world of rare coins. Keep searching, keep collecting, and keep your eyes sharp, because the next rare Rhode Island quarter might already be in your pocket right now. Coin number 3. This is the United States of America 2006 Nebraska State Quarter Dollar, a coin that looks powerful at first glance, but becomes even more fascinating when you discover its rare varieties and valuable errors. The Nebraska quarter is one of the most visually dynamic designs in the whole program. The mighty chimney rock rising from the plains, the wagon of the pioneers rolling forward with determination, and the brilliance of the Nebraska skies carved into the coin, everything about it screams adventure and discovery. When this quarter was released, collectors immediately fell in love with its bold design. But the real story begins where the ordinary ends, in the rarest pieces that slip through the mint with flaws that turn them into treasures. Even though millions of Nebraska quarters were produced, only a very small number contain the mistakes collectors chase. These errors were never meant to exist, yet they escaped the mint, circulated into the world, and today they stand as hidden gems waiting to be discovered. One of the most dramatic and valuable errors found on the 2006 Nebraska quarter is the off-center strike. Imagine the wagon shifted to one side, chimney rock cut off halfway, or the date drifting dangerously close to the rim. These off-center pieces are instantly recognizable, and their value increases the more dramatic the misalignment. Slight off-centers are nice, but extreme examples where a large part of the planchet is blank can bring strong premiums. Another rare and fascinating error is the die crack. Some Nebraska quarters show jagged lines running through the sky, across chimney rock, or through the wagon wheels. These cracks appear as raised lines on the surface of the coin, formed when the die begins to fracture under pressure. Collectors love die cracks because each one is completely unique. And when the crack becomes large enough to form a cut, a swollen, raised blob on the rim, the value increases even more. There are also doubled die varieties on this coin, and this is where things get even more interesting. Doubling may appear on the lettering of Nebraska, on the date, or in the fine lines around the wagon and landscape. Some doubled dies are mild, barely visible without magnification. Others show clear doubling that jumps out immediately. A strong doubled die transforms this everyday 25-cent coin into a collectible worth serious money, but one of the most unusual errors on this quarter is the struck-through grease error. When grease builds up on the die, important parts of the design disappear. Faded letters, missing details around chimney rock, or soft, ghost-like textures near the wagon are signs of this rare mistake. Each struck-through error is different, which makes them exciting and highly collectible. You may also find misaligned die errors, where one die hits slightly off its normal position, creating tilted or stretched details. On the Nebraska quarter, misalignment can cause the wagon lines to appear uneven or the state outline to look distorted. These unusual visual effects make the coin immediately stand out, but even without errors, high-grade Nebraska quarters can be surprisingly valuable. A perfect mint state piece with no scratches, no dullness, and bright original luster can command strong prices. Collectors especially look for pieces graded above mint state 67, where the quality becomes exceptional and the value rises sharply. The Nebraska quarter captures the spirit of American exploration, and its rare errors capture the thrill of the unexpected. Every time you look through a roll of quarters, you might be holding a hidden treasure, a coin that tells a story of the past and holds the potential for real monetary value today. Now that you understand the beauty and the rarity of this coin, let's talk about what collectors always want to know: the real market prices and auction values spoken in clear words exactly as you requested. A normal circulated 2006 Nebraska quarter is usually worth from $1 to $3. A high-grade mint State example can sell for $20 to $60. Strong double die varieties may bring $100 to $200. Large die cracks and cut errors can sell for $200 to $400. Dramatic off-center strikes have sold for $300 to $700. And rare struck-through errors have reached auction prices from $300 to $800 depending on the severity. All of these values prove one thing: even a modern quarter can be a hidden treasure if you pay attention to the details. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep exploring, because the next rare Nebraska quarter might be sitting right in your pocket. Coin number 4. A coin that honors the birthplace of monumental American history, a coin that today hides rare treasures, mysterious errors, and surprising value. This is the United States of America 2007 Washington State Quarter Dollar, a coin that looks strong in design, but becomes absolutely fascinating once you learn the secrets buried within it. When the Washington Quarter was released in 2007, collectors immediately noticed its bold design. The rugged outline of Mount Rainier rising like a silent giant, the salmon leaping across the rushing river, the evergreen landscape carved with precision, everything about this coin captures the natural spirit of Washington State. It looks peaceful at first glance, but collectors know one thing: sometimes the calmest designs hide the rarest surprises. Even though millions of Washington quarters were minted, only a tiny fraction contain the rare varieties and mint errors that turn ordinary coins into valuable collectibles. And that is where the real excitement begins. Point 1 of the most dramatic and valuable errors found on the 2007 Washington quarter is the off-center strike. When the coin shifts away from the center during striking, the design becomes uneven. The mountain may sit too far to the left, the salmon may appear cut off, or part of the rim may show blank metal. Even a small off-center shift can raise the value, but extreme examples, where a big portion of the planchet is empty, are highly sought after and can sell for strong premiums. Another rare and frequently discussed error is the die crack. The Washington quarter is known for cracks running through the mountain slopes, across the river, or near the salmon's tail. These cracks form raised lines on the coin, giving it an unexpected rugged appearance. Every die crack is unique, and larger ones are especially valuable. In some cases, cracks grow so large that they form a cud, a bold raised blob near the rim. Cuds are extremely collectible and add dramatic visual appeal to the coin. Point 1 of the most fascinating varieties collectors search for is the double die. On the Washington quarter, doubling can appear on the lettering of Washington, on the date, or around the mountain and river details. Some doubled dies are light, barely visible unless you inspect the coin carefully. But strong doubled dies show clear, bold doubling that makes the coin instantly desirable. Another classic and highly collectible error found on this coin is the struck-through grease error. When a die is clogged with grease, certain parts of the design fade away. You may see missing wavelines in the river, a soft or ghost-like appearance on the salmon, or faded letters in the inscriptions. Every struck-through error is different, making it a unique collector's piece. Then there are misaligned die errors, where the dies do not strike perfectly aligned. On this coin, misalignment may cause the rim to appear thicker on one side, or the mountain details to stretch unnaturally. These visual distortions give the coin a unique appearance and sometimes significant value, but even without errors, the Washington quarter shines in the world of high-grade collecting. Coins that remain untouched, uncirculated, and perfectly preserved are incredibly desirable. Bright luster, sharp edges, flawless surfaces, these are the traits that coin graders reward. When a Washington quarter is certified at a high grade, especially above Mint State 67, collectors compete intensely to own it. This coin isn't just metal. It's a piece of the natural beauty of America, a tribute to a landscape shaped by time, and a hidden gateway to rare values for collectors who know what to look for. Every time you search through a handful of quarters, the next rare Washington coin may be waiting to surprise you. And now, let's talk about the numbers that every collector wants to hear. The real market prices and auction values spoken in words exactly as you requested. A circulated 2007 Washington quarter typically sells for $1 to $3. A high-grade uncirculated piece can bring $20 to $70. Strong double die varieties may sell for $100 to $2. $150. Large die cracks and cut errors can reach $200 to $400. Dramatic off-center strikes have sold for $300 to $700, and rare struck-through errors have appeared in auctions from $300 to $800 depending on how dramatic the error is. These values show that modern coins still hold huge potential, and even a quarter minted in 2007 can surprise collectors with incredible worth. The key is paying attention, learning the signs, and never ignoring the details. Thank you for joining this journey into the world of rare coins. Keep searching, keep collecting, and keep your passion strong, because the next rare Washington quarter might already be in your pocket. Coin number 5. This is the United States of America 2015 Kisatchie State Quarter Dollar, a coin that celebrates one of the most beautiful and historic national forests in the country, yet contains some of the most unexpected errors and rare varieties in the entire America. The beautiful series, the Kisatchie Quarter, is unlike many others. The bold image of the wild turkey taking flight, the sweeping landscape of the forest, and the engraved name that honors Louisiana's legendary natural treasure, all carved with incredible detail. The moment this coin was released, collectors noticed how sharp and dramatic the design looked. But what they didn't know at the time was that hidden among the millions of regular strikes were rare mistakes, errors born inside the mint that turned ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. And today, if you listen carefully, you may learn how to identify one of these rare Kisatchie treasures that so many collectors overlook. The first thing that makes this coin exciting is how the mint struck it. Produced at both Philadelphia and Denver, the Kisatchie Quarter entered circulation in huge numbers. But even in a sea of millions, a tiny number of coins escape with errors, and those errors are what collectors chase. One of the most dramatic errors on the 2015 Kisatchie Quarter is the off-center strike. When the blanks shift even slightly before striking, the turkey appears displaced, sometimes the wing tips get chopped off, and the surrounding inscriptions begin drifting toward the rim. Slight off-centers are collectible, but when the blank planchet shows a visible empty arc, the value increases dramatically. The more dramatic the shift, the more collectors want it. Another rare trait on this coin is the die crack error. Kisatchie quarters with cracks running through the wing, across the treetops, or near the words United States of America are surprisingly valuable. These cracks appear as raised lines, created when the mint's dies start to fracture under stress. Larger cracks, especially ones that spread across multiple areas of the design, are highly sought after, and when they grow into full cuts, large blobs of extra metal near the rim, collectors are willing to pay excellent premiums. But one of the most interesting and eye-catching errors on the Kisatchie Quarter is the struck-through error. This occurs when something interferes between the die and the planchet during striking. Grease, metal shavings, dust, or even tiny fragments of cloth. These struck-through pieces can show missing feathers on the turkey, faded lettering, ghost-like forest details, or unusual smooth patches. No two struck-through errors are the same, which makes each one a unique collectible. Another favorite among collectors is the doubled die variety. On the Kisatchie Quarter, doubling can appear on the name Louisiana, on the year, or in the fine feather details of the turkey's wing. Some doubled dies are light, but others show clear and dramatic doubling that even beginners can see with no magnification at all. Strong doubled dies are considered treasures, especially when found in high-grade. Misaligned die strikes are also found on this coin. When either the obverse or reverse die shifts, the rim can appear thick on one side and thin on the other. This creates an unusual look that often catches the eye instantly. While mild misalignments are common, extreme ones can be quite valuable, and then there is the world of high-grade examples. A normal Kisatchie Quarter might look common, but a flawless mint state piece with full luster, no scratches, sharp detail on every feather, and perfect strike quality can be worth far more than face value. When grading companies certify these coins in mint state 67 and above, the prices rise dramatically, because high-grade modern quarters are surprisingly rare. This is why collectors love the Kisatchie coin. It combines beautiful design, historical meaning, and multiple opportunities for rare errors. Every coin you examine could contain a surprise the mint never intended, and that is what makes this hobby so exciting. Now let's talk about what everyone watching is waiting for: the real market value and the real auction results. Spoken clearly in words exactly as you requested. A circulated 2015 Kisachi quarter usually sells for $1 to $3. A high-grade mint state example can sell for $20 to $60. A strong double die variety may bring $100 to $200. Large die cracks or cut errors can reach $200 to $400. Dramatic off-center strikes have sold for $300 to $700, and rare struck-through errors have appeared in auctions from $300 to $800 depending on how large and unusual the error is. These values prove that even a modern coin from 2015 can carry surprising worth if you know what to look for. So keep your eyes open, keep your hands steady, and never ignore the details. Because the next rare Kisachi coin might be hiding in your pocket right now. Coin number 6. This is the United States of America 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter dollar, and if you listen carefully, you may discover secrets hidden in a coin that millions of people handle every single day without realizing its true potential. The Cumberland Gap quarter is a tribute to the gateway of the American frontier, the passage through which countless explorers journeyed westward. The design shows a pioneer standing strong, looking into the vast unknown, holding his rifle with determination. Behind him stretches the rugged landscape of the Cumberland Gap, a symbol of courage carved forever into this coin. When this quarter was released, collectors immediately admired its powerful artwork. But what they didn't expect was that among millions of ordinary pieces, a small number carried rare mistakes that transformed them into valuable collectibles, and that's where this story becomes truly exciting. One of the most dramatic errors found on the 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter is the off-center strike. These errors happen when the blank planchet shifts during striking, causing the pioneer to appear shifted toward one edge, or the inscriptions to be pushed dangerously close to the rim. Slight off-centers are collectible, but the most valuable pieces are the ones with large blank arcs of metal on one side. These extreme off-center examples are instantly recognizable and can bring surprisingly high prices. Another important error to look for on this coin is the die crack. Because of the strong details in the design of the rifle, the clothing, the rocky background, the inscriptions, die cracks often appear as raised lines slicing through the artwork. They can run through the pioneer's hat, across the rifle, or through the landscape. Larger cracks bring higher value, and when they grow so large that they create a swollen chunk of extra metal near the rim, known as a cud, the value jumps even more. There are also double die varieties, one of the most exciting discoveries for collectors. On the Cumberland Gap quarter, doubling may appear on the words "First Doorway to the West," on the date, or on the details of the pioneer's figure. Some doubled dies are subtle and require close inspection, but the strong ones show clear doubling with the naked eye. These pieces are considered rare and valuable, especially in high grade. Another rare and visually interesting mistake is the struck-through error. When something interferes with the strike, grease, fabric, dust, or metal fragments, parts of the design fail to form normally. The surface may appear soft, faint, or missing details, such as the texture of the clothing, parts of the rifle, or even sections of the inscriptions. Struck-through errors are unpredictable and unique, making them highly collectible. Also keep an eye out for misaligned die strikes. When the dies do not strike perfectly aligned, the rim may appear thicker on one side, or the design may seem slightly pushed upward or downward. These errors are easy to spot when severe and can bring decent premiums depending on their appearance, and then we reach the world of high-grade coins. A Cumberland Gap quarter that has never been circulated, never been scratched or pocket-worn, and still shines with its original mint luster can be worth far more than face value. Collectors especially treasure pieces graded mint state 67 and higher, where the details remain sharp and untouched. High-grade modern quarters are surprisingly rare, which is why certified pieces can attract competitive bidding. What makes this coin so interesting to collectors is not just the design or the errors. It is the history behind it, a symbol of exploration, movement, and discovery. Every time you hold this coin, you are holding a piece of America's earliest frontier, preserved in metal. And every error variety adds another chapter to that story, making some pieces far more valuable than others. Now it's time for the part every viewer wants to hear. The real market value and auction results spoken in simple words exactly as you requested. A circulated 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter usually sells for $1 to $3. A high-grade mint state example can sell for $20 to $60. Strong double die varieties may sell for $100 to $200. Large die cracks or cut errors can bring $200 to $400. Dramatic off-center strikes have sold for $300 to $700, and rare struck-through errors have appeared in auctions from $300 to $800 based on size and visibility. These prices show that even a modern quarter can hold hidden value. Your next rare find might be waiting in your pocket, in your change jar, or in a roll of brand new coins. The key is looking closely, learning the details, and never underestimating a coin that seems ordinary at first glance. Coin number 7. The story of the 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter begins deep in the heart of Missouri, where the echoes of nature, waterfalls, steep cliffs, and cold fresh rivers inspired one of the most visually powerful coins in the entire America, the beautiful quarter program. When collectors first saw this design, many called it one of the most cinematic and beautifully detailed state quarters ever minted. But what most people still don't know is that hidden inside this peaceful design are some of the rarest errors, unusual striking varieties, and surprising conditions that can turn an ordinary pocket change quarter into a valuable treasure worth serious money. Imagine you are holding a coin that represents more than history. It represents adventure, exploration, and the raw American wilderness. On the reverse, the alley mill stands silently beneath tall trees. The water wheel, the stone walls, the windows, the flowing river, all of these details create small spaces where minting errors naturally appear. Every little corner of this design can host anomalies, die cracks, interior die breaks, misaligned strikes, feeder finger scrapes, and even doubled elements caused by worn dies. And that is where the real value begins. Collectors love this quarter not only because of its artwork but because the design is so detailed that it reveals minting imperfections very easily. For example, on certain specimens, small raised metal lines appear on the roof of alley mill. These are die cracks, and depending on the thickness and position, they can bring a premium. Other coins show die chips near the windows or in the flowing river, giving the illusion of a splash or bubble in the water. These small raised bumps might look accidental, but to collectors they are like hidden signatures of the minting process. One of the most visually interesting errors comes from the water wheel area. Some coins show a heavy die break right on the wheel, giving the appearance of a broken or enlarged wheel. Another popular error occurs near the trees where doubling creates the look of a ghost-like shadow behind the branches. This type of doubling can be machine doubling or true double die, and sharp, well-defined doubling can turn an ordinary Ozark Riverways quarter into a rare find that collectors chase intensely. But the most valuable errors for this quarter come from dramatic striking mistakes such as off-center strikes, clips, and coins struck through grease. An off-center error on this design looks especially dramatic because the mill, the trees, and the flowing river shift to one side, creating a striking and visually unique appearance. A clipped planchet version of this coin, especially if the clip cuts through key design elements, becomes highly desirable. Even more interesting are the uncirculated and high-grade coins. Many collectors don't realize that 2017 quarters were heavily used in circulation. That means high-grade specimens from rolls or mint sets become significantly more valuable. Coins graded above MS66 are noticeably harder to find, and MS67 examples quickly rise in value because very few exist with absolutely perfect, sharp, mirror-like surfaces. The combination of circulation wear, machine contact marks during production, and metal softness makes pristine coins extremely rare. And then we have the special collector strikes, the 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter in San Francisco mint versions. The circulation strike from San Francisco, marked with an S mint mark, was not released into circulation and was only available in rolls and bags sold directly by the mint. These are much scarcer than Philadelphia or Denver pieces and become even more rare if they show errors or extremely high grades such as MS68. Proof coins also enter the conversation. The deep mirror backgrounds, frosted designs, and razor-sharp details make proof errors incredibly collectible. A struck-through error or a doubling on a proof coin is like lightning in a bottle, extremely rare and deeply desirable to advanced collectors. The beauty of the 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter is not just in the design, but in the possibilities. Every single coin can hold a surprise. A slight minting imperfection, a heavy die crack, a doubled window frame, a clipped edge, a weak strike, a filled die area, or a perfectly preserved surface untouched by circulation, all of these can turn a simple 25-cent piece into money worth far more than its face value. Collectors who love nature, history, and minting mysteries can spend hours studying this quarter, discovering tiny details that others overlook. That is why this coin remains one of the most researched and most appreciated coins in modern U.S. circulation history. Now let's reveal the actual market prices for the rarest forms of this coin. A normal circulated 2017 Ozark Riverways quarter is worth exactly 25 cents. But high-grade mint state examples, depending on condition, can reach values between $20 and $100. Rare errors such as large off-center strikes or dramatic die breaks can sell for $100 to several $100s. Proof coins with errors can sell for even higher values, with premium pieces reaching up to $1,000 in major auctions.